Back when America was rapidly developing, it was a common belief that if you were to destroy a hill, another would be right around the bend. The more trees you cut, the more trees you found. However, few people were out to prove that wrong. John Muir was one of those people, and possibly father of the American conservation movement. John Muir was born in 1838 in Dunbar, Scotland. His parents were Daniel and Anne Muir, and he had many siblings. Daniel was a very strict father, so the family had to labor almost all day at his shop. However, in his spare time, Muir would sneak away with his grandfather's siblings and explore the land around their home. At age 11, Muir's family moved to Portage, Wisconsin. The trip to the United States was exciting, and Muir was looking forward to his new home. However, Daniel still had Muir working most of the day, but just like back home in Scotland, Muir would sneak out and wander through the woods next to his house. Sometimes, John would make his own inventions and show them off at his local fair. He enjoyed showing others his machinery and met some longtime friends along the way. When John grew up, he set out to go to the University of Wisconsin and was a good student. However, John left before getting a degree, wanting to pursue other interests. After working in an industrial area and almost losing an eye, Muir finally decided to walk on a 1,000-mile walk to South America. Along the way, he wrote in his journal about the different plants and scenes he would find in nature. About halfway through the trip, Muir caught a case of pneumonia, a lung infection, and had to revise his route. He decided instead to head towards California. Once recovered, Muir reached California. After visiting San Francisco, he decided to check out the Sierra Nevadas and stumbled upon Yosemite. John Muir absolutely loved Yosemite at first sight, and quote, "From the margin of these glorious forests, the first general view of the valley used to be gained, a revelation in landscape affairs that enriches one's life forever. Entering the valley, gazing overwhelmed with the multitude of grand objects about us, perhaps the first to fix our attention will be the Bridal Veil, a beautiful waterfall on our right. Its brow, where it first leaps free from the cliff, is about 900 feet above us, and as it sways and sings in the wind, clad in gauzy, sun-sifted spray, half falling, half floating, it seems infinitely gentle and fine, but the hymns it sings tell the solemn fateful power hidden beneath its soft clothing." Muir decided to stay in Yosemite for a while, and eventually found a job there, a woodcutter, but Muir would only take the wood from already fallen trees. John would constantly explore Yosemite and take in its grand sights. He had fallen in love with the wild here. Later, when John visited his old friends the Strenzels in the city, he met their daughter, Louis Strenzel, who he fell in love with. The two got married, and Louis' father made a house in Martinez just for them. It was an orchard, with plenty of land nearby. John and Louis had two daughters, Wanda and Helen Muir. Muir would frequently take his daughters on strolls around the orchard, and introduce them to nature. Still, John Muir needed to travel, so he would frequently visit Yosemite and take in its beauty again and again. Occasionally, Muir would visit Alaska and wander about the glaciers there with his exploration team. However, during all of this, Americans were destroying the nature that Muir loved for resources. Whole amazing landscapes were being destroyed for their value. Companies were stripping hillsides of the trees for wood. Sheep and cattle were being allowed to overgraze meadows, killing plants entirely, and miners were destroying entire hillsides regularly in hope of finding silver, gold, and other valuable minerals. Muir decided to take action for the wilderness he loved and started to publish articles in magazines, such as Atlantic Monthly, about the importance of nature conservation. He even started to write books, and this gained him much attention. He would push for the protection of these wild places, such as Yosemite, and ask for a law that protected more land. Slowly, people started to notice. Some Americans were being more mindful of what they did concerning nature, and John Muir became famous. He even founded his own organization called the Sierra Club, which was set upon protecting nature. Finally, the President of the United States at the time, Theodore Roosevelt, took notice. John Muir agreed to take Roosevelt on a camping trip in Yosemite. It went well. John Muir was constantly pushing Theodore to pass a law and protect Yosemite, as well as many other areas as national parks. Roosevelt was amazed by the Yosemite as well, so not long after, Theodore Roosevelt set aside almost 230 million acres of land. John Muir even took a short hike with President William Howard Taft when he was in office. However, despite all of this, the happiness was short-lived. Hetch Hetchy Valley, which Muir described as a second Yosemite, was in danger of being dammed and used as a reservoir for San Francisco. Upon hearing this, Muir immediately got to work. He started to publish books and articles again on the subject, and had public speakings. Muir's organization, the Sierra Club, would help too. John Muir would start writing at 7 in the morning and would finish around 10 at night. Many people wished to stop the damming of Hetch Hetchy, although many did disagree. Despite all of John Muir's efforts, on December 6, 1913, 43 senators were in favor of damming Hetch Hetchy Valley, and only 25 opposed it. Muir was devastated. He believed we had lost one of the most amazing places on Earth. He almost didn't write again if he didn't have any encouragement from his best friends. John Muir devoted most of his time to writing from that point onward. He went on to publish more books and spend time with his family, until John Muir died on December 24th, 1914. John Muir is still a legacy today. He is widely considered the father of the American conservation movement and is still influencing us. His books are still around and being published, and he has many places named after him, such as the John Muir Trail, Muir Glacier, and much more. Even today, the national parks Muir fought to protect are still around, and the organizations he founded and influenced are still working hard to protect the wild. Muir inspired the American people with his writing, and opened our eyes to the beauty of nature. He succeeded many times, and although he lost a few battles, Muir was a revered person of his time, and still is, to this day.